5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I'm a beast stalker, giant stalker, dragon stalker, crypt stalker, demon stalker, rift stalker, Gron stalker, crypt stalker, scourge stalker, wind runner. I'm a pony, lead skill hunter, a death dealer, a life stealer. That's just the cost of being awesome sauce.
Welcome to episode 268 of the Hunting Party Podcast. I am Darkbrew from thebrewhall.com and the Brew Hall on Twitter.
I'm Delirium from thrillofthewild.com and at Delirium Hunts on Twitter.
I'm Bendak from Eyes of the Beast and Bendak WoW on Twitter.
All right, today is Sunday, March 11th, 2018, and we are broadcasting live on twitch.tv, and you can participate in the live chat room where, I don't know where Alessandra is. She's been AWOL for a little bit, so yeah, you can do whatever the heck you want, I guess, in the chat room, because, you know, none of us are going to be moderating anything, so, oh boy. But yeah, hopefully maybe we'll figure out what's going on with Allie. But type in your questions, send us your questions, and we'll try and answer them as best we can on the show today. And I don't know. So we're on a semi-schedule here now. We did have a show a couple weeks ago, and I'm not sure how much has changed, though. We've been sort of looking at the Battle for Azeroth, the alpha. I don't know what happened. Someone must have made a major clerical error of some kind, but I actually ended up getting into the alpha over the weekend. I was just loading up my BattleNet to play a game of Hearthstone, and then I noticed that it was downloading and installing, and then I actually got that was on Thursday, and then I think sometime Friday I got the official email confirming it, although I had been able to get in and take a look at things prior to that. So whoever did that, thank you. I don't know. Have any of you guys gotten in yet?
I didn't, but I think that was just lucky for you, because I saw in my Twitter there was a bunch of people that got invites on that same day, so there must have been a big wave or something. Yeah,
so hopefully they'll start loosening it up and letting more and more folks in, and certainly hope you guys get in soon. But I was not expecting that at all. Like I said, I wasn't even looking for it. In fact, I think for Legion, I think Bendak, you probably had to send me a code or something, and it was pretty late into it when I was able to get in and check things out. So yeah, if you guys want me to take a look at anything or try and test anything, I mean, Delirium, you'd already asked me about the Azerite UI. I don't know if it's enabled in the game yet. I certainly didn't find an easy way to get to it, or any way to get to it, I should say. It still feels very much like alpha, and which is, I think you probably still get better information right now out of the data mining stuff than you do from actually going into the game at the moment.
Yeah, did you play any of the dungeons or anything like that?
Not yet. I've just sort of had a chance to kind of go to the starter areas, started doing some quests. It's very quiet, and I don't mean that there's not a lot of people. I don't see that many people around, but it just feels, like I said, very much like it's still in alpha here, and a lot of the polish and detail is missing from the game. A few models here and there, but mostly the noise. Like there's just a general lack of sounds right now going on, which makes it sort of weird, almost boring in a way. And there's no character copy right now either, so you're just stuck using the pre-mades that they give you.
Yeah, I think that's fairly normal for alpha.
Yeah. And so it's hard to see what kind of starter gear they give, because because of the item squish. So I don't have any of that. Can't really compare it much to the older stuff that we had, coming out of Legion. But all the numbers are small again, which is fine.
Yeah, I have the same problem with the data mining. Like a lot of these abilities, we'll get to Azerite abilities here in a second, but a lot of them are, grants 39 haste. Well, what's that? I don't know. But at least until somebody levels up to 110 for me.
Yeah, was it 120, right? I think.
Or 120, yeah. Whatever the max level is now. Good point.
It almost doesn't matter. I sometimes feel like it's just a number to get you to that just sort of unlocks the ability to do the end game content that's out there.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. 120 levels in an RPG is kind of unheard of.
Well, it is what, 13 years old at this point, so makes sense, I guess. But I don't know. I don't know what you've looked at as far as some of the data mine stuff. Maybe we'll jump right to this. Delirium, you wrote a post taking a look at the Azerite in Battle for Azeroth, sort of taking a first look at some of the utility. Like I said, I look for it in game. I didn't see it there, so I'm not sure if you have to be max level or if it's not really quite enabled yet. But as I said, the data mining information seems to be a little bit better right now than going into the game and discovering stuff. But what did you notice from just this initial look? I know you were underwhelmed by it all. So let's talk about what you've seen so far.
I don't know if I'd even say or go that far. I wasn't expecting much out of it. I mean, this is not exactly, but a little bit taking the place of whatever our tier gear, our set bonuses and such. And it's got, normally we don't have one in the first raid. We don't have a set bonus, at least for the last handful of expansions. Actually, maybe not ever. So trying to think back. So I wasn't expecting these to be huge and game changing, and not as intense as our artifact weapons were. So I think this is about what I expected, and they are, if you were hoping for a lot of amazing kind of abilities here, they're not there, but that wouldn't be what I would expect for a first tier.
And the first tier 1 utilities, there's resounding protection, which you can get an absorb shield for 6 seconds every 30 seconds. You listed this as aspect of the slightly faster cheetah. That I really wish that would be the name. That would be awesome.
Yeah, it's only called aspect of the cheetah, which is kind of problematic, since that's also the exact name of the ability.
But it basically makes you go, as you might guess, faster than for the first 3 seconds of aspect of the cheetah. And then the other one was swiftness, not to be confused with aspect of the cheetah, I guess, which increases the movement speed based on your haste up to a cap.
Yeah, I actually kind of think that's it's weird that haste doesn't increase your speed. I mean, I know it doesn't in any RPG, and it seems normal that haste is just attack speed, but it just kind of makes sense that it would make you move faster.
And I wonder how fast we'll end up being able to go. I mean, I sort of like movement speeds in general, although I don't necessarily notice them all that much when they're there.
Right. It becomes pretty baseline quick.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't even notice that I'm moving faster, I guess, until you start to move slower. But what are your thoughts on that first tier, Bendak? Anything stand out, or just sort of hope it changes to something better?
Well, these are tier 1, so this would be like the first ones you unlock. So that's why they're not the greatest, I assume. But that first one sounds just like a poor man's Pride as, which, I mean, looking at these, I don't know. I probably would take that. I would think, because cheetah with its like 3-minute cooldown, it's like whoop-de-doo, travel a little faster for 3 seconds every 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's hard to figure out. There might be fights where that absorb shield comes in handy, but 6 seconds every 30 seconds, you can't really plan out, when you want to not take damage or have a little absorb shield. So
yeah, that's true. Pride has lasts for the full 30. This only lasts for 6. That's kind of meh.
Did they ever say if these are locked in? Like once you select them, they lock you in, or is it one of those things where you unlock all of them?
I'm guessing they're locked in, and if you wanted to change it, you probably have to get another copy of the item.
Ugh.
But who knows? Maybe they'll have a currency or something. So I can see people like getting multiple copies of the same item and like swapping them for different scenarios and stuff.
Well, the good news is things aren't Titan forging for these pieces of gear anymore, so you don't have to sacrifice eye level for a particular aspect or something for one single fight. So that'll be good.
They also said that like it won't Titan forge, but these bonuses will be more strong depending on like the base of the item. Like the mythic version will have stronger bonuses than the heroic version.
Oh, I hadn't seen that. That's interesting.
Yeah, so the and the talents are actually, or sorry, the tiers are actually the same for each item. So you can actually go to the, dungeon journal and see what piece, who drops what piece and what talents tiers. What are we calling these?
Good
Just
question.
tiers, I think.
Okay, tier talents, okay, whatever. You can see what the selections are for each unlockable item, and actually that might be where we want to look if in case you want to go back into the alpha at some point. Darkbrew, maybe in the dungeon journal there might be something. I don't know.
Yeah, those are going to be some crazy tooltips.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. I'll be sure to check out the dungeon journal and see if there's anything interesting there at this point.
Yeah. Are there any dungeons open yet on the alpha, or is it?
Yes, I believe there are.
Okay, so there should be gear. All right.
Yeah, I'm not sure if any of the Azerite gear works yet, because these bonuses that were data mined, these are the first ones, just Hunter and Shaman. Those are the only ones that are even there, and I don't even think they're existing in game yet, just in the data mining, as far as I know.
Yeah, I think you might be right. And then there was Tier 2, which Delirium you labeled as procs you probably won't notice. Again, that's not the real name, but there was Overwhelming Power. Damaging abilities have a chance to proc a bunch of haste and lose some of it each time you take damage, or every 3 seconds. There's Elemental Whirl. Damaging abilities have a chance to proc a random secondary stat buff for 10 seconds. And then Heed My Call. Damaging abilities have a chance to deal extra damage and a little bit of AoE damage, which always just seems like that's probably a good one. Since it's just clearly a straight damage buff. I don't know.
Yeah, looking at these, my first impression is, well, I'm just going to sim and see what one's better.
Yeah, and it may be one of those things like with Elemental Whirl, it probably might depend on the stat that you get. One stat might be better than another, most likely, but you're not guaranteed to get that, so it may not be worth it overall.
Honestly, I was hoping more of these would be. I was hoping actually all of them would be utility stuff, and you could just make interesting choices there. Because when it's damaged, I'm just going to sim it.
Yeah, I agree. I think you're right there. I mean, there's no point to doing anything other than, sort of put it into a computer and see what it spits out as the way to go, and then just stick with that until, there's an adjustment of some kind.
Yeah, I'm trying, like when we went through the first tier of pure utility, I was thinking like, well, if it's this type of fight, this style of boss, well, maybe this would be better. If it's this other style, then okay, maybe the absorb shield. But yeah, looking at tier 2 or tier 3 for that matter, it's all I can't think of any weird situations where they, two that were pretty close, I would want them depending on, for a specific use. It's just whatever does more damage.
And then under tier 3, you listed this as making crit matter and spec specifics. And then we have Embrace the Sands. Crits have a chance to create a sandstorm that heals allies and damage baddies for 6 seconds. There's Moat in the Eye. Abilities have a chance to give you a crit buff that decreases by 1/6 every 2 seconds until it's gone. And then Fury of the Sands. Attacks have a chance to deal extra damage. When that damage crits, it triples, which sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's just the extra damage, not the crit of the actual ability.
I would think so too.
So not, amazing. I think they're all balanced pretty similarly. I don't know how a sandstorm heals anybody either.
I don't know. I was just looking at the names of those teams, thinking they're going, what is with this sort of sand theme that they've got going on here? I don't.
And what is a moat in an eye? I don't know what that means.
It's possible the abilities this item belongs that belong to whatever item this is like some kind of sand themed item. I don't know.
Could be.
Like a sand elemental.
Or something. I don't know. Like, who knows?
I don't know.
I don't
I
get where
can't
the
think of much
sands come
sand
from.
themes. Who all was down in that in Kalimdor's southernmost region? What's that called? I always want to call it Old War,
Silithus?
but that's not right.
Tenaris Desert?
No, further south from Kata.
Oh, from
Oldham?
Oldham.
Yeah, Oldham.
I like that zone. That was one of my favorite zones in Cataclysm. All right, so then what else we got? We got some spec specific ones too for Beast Mastery. There's Rotting Jaws, occasional extra damage for kill command, and then Ride the Lightning increases the crit chance of aspect of the
Wild.
excuse me, by 5%. Gives you a weird nature based chain lightning and becomes shaman now. That only hits 3 targets max, but for every damaging ability. So basically, what turns all of our abilities into weird AOE.
Or at least a chance at being an AoE, yeah.
I always
I don't know,
get
that's kind of like the I don't even play BM now, so what's the BM weapon called?
Titan Strike. Yeah, this
Yeah.
is a Titan Striker type thing. It's
Yeah.
sort of like Thunder Slash.
It seems kind of like they had this idea for an ability and never got to use it for Titan Strike, so they just throwing it on later. Or somebody, some low developer got a raise or got a promotion, and so he decided to put in his idea that didn't get used.
So expect it to change going forward, right? It'll never, expected to not see the light of day in Battle for Azeroth either. I always get nervous with, random sort of AoE stuff.
Yeah, they have put in a lot of like max targets that abilities can hit in Battle for Azeroth. I don't remember seeing that a lot before.
No, maybe they're trying to make it so only some classes do mass AoE or something.
Which could make sense. I mean, just sometimes there are situations where you don't want to do AoE, and I always worry that something's going to go flying off in the wrong direction, or hit the wrong target in a group of 6 targets or something.
Yeah, I think it's good if some specs specialize in like 2 or 3 targets and others specialize in mass targets and stuff like that. If that's the direction they're going, or maybe they're just going to limit it for everyone.
And then for marksmanship, they get Arrow Storm, aimed shot buff, plus a 4% chance to reset the rapid fire cooldown, and piercing shots. Each shot of rapid fire has a 4% chance to miraculously split in 2, doing the same damage to a second target.
Some more spray and pray for marksmanship.
Yeah, these are weird. I still can't quite tell what their goal is for marksmanship in Battle for Azeroth. It doesn't seem like there's much of a theme yet.
And then under survival, they've got Whirling Rebound. Hatchet Toss does extra damage and now boomerangs back to you, doing significant damage to any enemies it hits when coming back. And Vigorous Rings increase the duration of Aspect of the Eagle by 8 seconds and causes Mongoose Bite crits to deal significant additional damage.
That was smooth. You got Aspect of the Eagle real quick there.
I got lucky. I think it's because I saw that video of the animation for it, and it was just,
now you're thinking about it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I don't know, since no one plays survival, know what to think about that. I don't know. There's always the ones that I kind of like those abilities that kind of get you going and coming.
Yeah, these specific ones, they sound closer to set bonuses to me.
But pretty weak set bonuses. I don't know. Aspect of the Eagle.
Oh, I don't know. You've been playing BM though. I'm kind of used to that.
Not for too much longer, I guess. So I guess going forward, just thinking about that in general with the set bonuses kind of going away, I guess you're just going to want to go with whatever gear has the best stats going into whenever that, I guess probably the pre-patch, whenever that launches.
Wait, are they taking away old set bonuses?
Well, they've already taken away like anything from before Legion, right? Those are all deactivated. I assume they'll do the same thing.
I would assume they do the same thing too. If they want to get rid of them, might as well just get rid of them.
Huh.
Rather than risk some quirky scenario where you might want to have a 2-piece of something for this period, like do that first tier or something like that, right? Where it just, I'm not saying that is the case, but you might as well just not even chance it.
Well, it looks like with these abilities, they're kind of planning ahead, and you see a lot of them that have, increases crit by 77 or something like that, which makes it a lot easier to both increase them based on the difficulty level, for mythic, heroic, or normal, and also to make them meaningless in coming tiers as we get more stats and those numbers. So instead of, being 5%, it's a set stat. Makes a lot more sense. Except for marksmanship, which still has everything based on percents.
I don't know. Looking at these items, what I wish they'd do is just make, like, say for example, the first tier is utility, the second tier is all defensive, and then the third tier is just, don't even give it a choice. Just put one there because we're just gonna sim it anyway. You know what I mean? Like, just like when you fully unlock the item, you kind of unlock the set bonus thing, whatever it's gonna be. I just don't like, this is just looking like it's just going to be another Netherlight Crucible in terms of all the options and simming and all that stuff. I don't know.
There's no tree to this though, right? Like,
No.
There's no chance where you'll have to choose a bad one so you can get a good one in a later tier?
No, there's no tree. It's just, I don't know how many, I think the first tier is you get 2 choices, and then I don't know, it's like 2, 3, and 3 or something like that. Or maybe it's 3 choices for each tier, I don't know.
And do you have an idea, are we expecting these all to be unlocked before we enter the first raid? Kind of like the artifact weapons? Or will we be primarily opening them even for the hardcore raiders as we raid?
I don't know. I don't know. If I had to guess, I'd say it'll take a while to unlock them all, or maybe it'll be like you unlock like the helm ones first and then the shoulder ones, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Like if your Heart of Azeroth is level 3, then you've unlocked the first tier of your helm, tier 1 or something like that. Who knows? I don't know. Or they might just make you unlock it fast, and then, but then if they do that, then the whole Azerite system, like where's the value in it? Like what do you unlock after that?
Yeah, I mean, if there is a way to unlock them all by grinding, then it'll be a requirement for any raider, which is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, and so that's the other thing, that once you do unlock them all, what do you use your Azerite on?
Well, I assume we get new ones going forward, right?
Yeah, but once you've unlocked, like, once you have enough Azerite for like the 3rd tier of your helmet, you get a new helmet. You don't have to regrind that. That'll be unlocked.
But there'll be new tiers coming for the new tiers of the Azerite for the new tiers of raids.
Oh, you think they'll just keep making more and more tiers?
That's what I was assuming. But maybe, maybe they're just different and it changes. I don't actually know. Huh.
Yeah, there's a lot of unanswered questions for that. I feel like the system is not anywhere close to done.
If only one of us were in alpha and had researched all these things.
Well, like I said, I looked for the UI or something that mentioned Azerite, did not see it. Well, it's only been a couple of days.
All right, we'll give you to the next show. Then you have to know everything.
I'll have to know something. Although it's hard, I forget. And it's cool to be in there and all that, but there's no add-ons. You're stuck with the default UI, so it's like, I gotta redo all my keybinds and figure out what's what here. Don't have all my stuff. Don't have my gold, my characters, nothing. And then it's not really clear what you're supposed to do, right? I mean, you can just go find a target dummy, or you just start leveling and try and get to max level and see what's where.
Oh man, if there was a way to level by just using the target dummy, that would be spectacular. Sorry, that's not what you meant, is it?
No, and I will say this. I mean, the leveling hasn't seemed to change any, right? I mean, they've got the questing is what it is now. There's not. I don't know if there's anything really new or amazing. There's nothing innovative that they're really doing with their questing now. I think they've probably done just about everything they can in terms of how that works mechanically. So it's right, you find a quest giver, you click on them, maybe you read what's there, maybe you don't, and then you go kill a bunch of stuff, collect a bunch of stuff, and turn it all in.
Yeah, so far the whole expansion just kind of looks like Legion again, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because I've played a lot of Legion, so it has to be pretty good, right?
Yeah, and here's what I'll say about it. I like I said, I haven't been too many places, but I don't see there's no green, at least, right? I mean, there's no fell
No
sitting
fell,
around.
yeah.
So we've moved away from that. In fact, the first area I'm in looks a lot like it's wherever Jaina and the Proudmoors are from, but it looks a lot like Worgen area or something, It looks nice. It looks good. Like I said, they still got some stuff that needs to be filled out and it's missing some detail and stuff, but I think it'll be nice. Anytime you get something new and different like that, it's refreshing. But it's still just, especially day one, right? When you're anxious just to get to 120.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't BFA related, but sort of, I guess, because I was leveling one of the new allied races, and just finished, or just got into Legion stuff, and I had kind of forgotten because in my head I associate WoD, Warlords of Draenor, with just being so bad. It was just such a flop of an expansion for me. But the leveling in it was really good.
Yeah,
I had kind of forgotten how much enjoyable some of that leveling was. Just basic questing. I don't know what made it different. But then when I got into Legion stuff, I was like, and maybe it's just because I've done Legion stuff a lot more recently. But it was starkly different.
Yeah, I don't think leveling has ever been their, shortcoming, right? I mean, I think the problem with Warlords of Draenor is you finished and then you just sat in your garrison while you waited for raid to start. But up to that point, yeah, I thought the zones were really nice. They looked nice, and the quests and everything were pretty good. And I think BFA is going to be exactly like that too.
I'm really hoping they're about to combine, kind of like how they did Panda Land and Kata, or Outland and Northrend, that they'll combine Legion and WoD leveling zones, so you can go 100 to 110, because you can only do in the 10 levels, that's less than 2 full zones. So
yeah, I haven't looked. I don't know how they've set up the
yeah, I wish they do. I recently leveled a allied race too, and I wish they'd give you more freedom than they already have. Like, I'd really like to just be able to skip Outland and Northrend completely. There's definitely enough quests to do that. Like, you could go from vanilla to Kata to whatever.
Yeah, and I don't know. I like a lot of Northrend zones. Well, mostly just one of them, but yeah, it doesn't make sense that, I don't know. They've already given so much. Why not just go all the way and let you level up? It's such a huge world now, and it's such an old game in a huge world. Doesn't seem beneficial to block it or make people go through so much old content.
No, and if you think about it too, right? Since the old world was redone with Cataclysm, that the vanilla stuff is already been updated. It's been modernized, those zones and the story and the quests and everything there. So Outland and Northrend are really the two oldest pieces of content in terms of leveling, in terms of that model. So Outland especially probably feels dated.
Yeah, you can skip Outland and just do Northrend, but even Northrend is really dated. Like 60 to 80 was pretty brutal. As for someone who hasn't done it in a long time.
Yeah, I didn't do any kata leveling and just did for those 10 levels, which they only combined it to be 10. But I think I did Jade Forest and the whatever the far north one is, and then I was done with those. So I don't know if it's equally fast in kata zones, but it was surprising how little of the content you did. Still takes a long time, but compared to how it used to be, but it was I don't know, interesting how little content it was.
And the allied races, what they start at 20, so I mean you get a little bit of a head start, but not much.
Yeah, 1 to 20 is an hour of playing, or
Yeah.
a couple hours maybe, if you already know how to play.
So looking at some other stuff for Battle for Azeroth, I don't know that they've done a lot of work yet for Beast Mastery. I was looking at Cobra Shot. I noticed that it now reduces the cooldown of Kill Command by a bit. I think someone put a note that this has always been there. This has been there since the beginning of BFA.
Yeah, it was actually there at BlizzCon too. It's just one of the base changes.
And I was looking at the talents, the one where you can get the second pet. That's still not implemented in the game. So I don't think they've really they still haven't touched Beast Mastery much yet.
I do like the reduces the CD of Kill Command ability. Or they're implementing stuff like that with a lot of hunter abilities where it used to be we had a focus builder, a focus dump, and a signature ability, and that was our basically what our rotation was made around. But then they kept having to buff. It was it Arcane Shot back then. They kept having to buff our focus dump to make us competitive, and then eventually it was almost as powerful as our signature abilities.
Right? Yeah.
So it's good to add, instead of just generically buffing it, our focus dumps, to add, something like reducing the CD of your signature ability. I think that's a pleasant change to see in there.
Yeah, and there's also a talent too where you can take, and then Cobra Shot will additionally reduce the cooldown of Bestial Wrath as well.
Yeah, my only problem with that, it's a small one, but like the Killer Cobra talent's it's devalued a little bit because of this. Because you kind of waste that reduction when you're in Bestial Wrath now.
Oh, that's the one where Cobra Shot just entirely resets the cooldown of Kill Command?
Yeah. I always thought it'd be cool if they changed Killer Cobra that instead of like it reset the cooldown, but it also did something else to compensate for this new change, like extended the duration of Bestial Wrath by 1 second or something like that.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I was thinking about that too, that particular talent is a bit of a waste now too, as you say, because you're already reducing the cooldown a little bit, and it's not that long of a cooldown to begin with. So maybe they'll change that at some point. And some other things that were happening. I was looking over at, Petopia, and there are some pet model updates that are probably worth talking about. And these aren't necessarily new pets to the game. These are updating existing pet models. So in other words, these pets are getting makeovers, if you will, in Battle for Azeroth. And all these changes will be retroactive. So if you've tamed any of them, they will have the new look when Battle for Azeroth goes live. So depending on whether or not you like the new look, you may or may not be happy with what they've done.
So do we know if that applies? So like last time they did this, I can't remember when it was, but there was an uproar of people, wanting to keep their pets. And so they made the kind of consolation that if you had a rare, like a silver portrait pet, that it wouldn't get updated, but everything else would be, like all of the generic ones that you could just go and tame infinitely. Do we know if that's going to be the same here, or they're all changing?
I don't know. I will say this: gorillas are one of the pets that got changed, and I have that white gorilla that I've tamed. So I went to Strangle, and there's two pets in the game. One like I forget what they're like Ukulak and Ungoro and something like Sukulo or whatever. I have to look up the names, but in Stranglethorn, and I went and checked out both of them, and they both have the new model. So they are both updated.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And they're both rares, and they're the only two pets that I'm aware of that have that white gorilla skin. So they've been updated for now.
And these do. If anybody hasn't seen these yet, go over to Petopia because I mean, it just looks a lot better.
Many of them
It's
do. Like, yeah, they did
so
this.
much better.
Yeah, some of the ones they changed were beetles, vultures, crabs, gorillas, hyenas, the robot chickens, the robotic gorilla, stegodons, the barbed spiders, the bone spiders, the gracile spiders, tarantulas, and wind serpents are all getting new models in Battle for Azeroth. The hyenas look fantastic. I mean, I'm not a big hyena fan. I think I have one of the red ones now, and I don't use it very often. But the new models, wow, they look really good. I think that's the best one.
Yeah, a lot of these that we're still using the 2D. What do you even call it? Like all of their fur was just layers of 2D, just shaped assets. That's the word I'm looking for. 2D assets are now going up to 3-dimensional assets. So that's a much better look. They just look like they're not from 13 years ago.
No, they don't. And Allie was mentioning in chat, she's saying the new models may look better, but may not have the same feel like when they redid gnomes and bunnies. And that's true, right? They can be different. Some cases it will feel like getting a new pet. I'm interested to see what they do with the crabs, because there's that one pet, Karkin, who's a rare, and right now he's got this very distinct look. He's very shiny, almost almost has an effect, shimmering effect, if you will, because so maybe not that different from camouflage. And he's changing, and I haven't seen him in game, so I don't know what he looks like, but he's going to look very different, I think. I wonder if they'll do something about that, but I imagine people might not be too happy about how that particular one turns out.
Yeah, you need to go tame Ghostcrawler too. See how that's looking.
Yeah, I'll have to be curious to see what he looks like too. Although maybe it won't look. Maybe it'll just have the new model, but the effect will be the same. I don't. Maybe they will change the coloring on it. I don't know. I don't know if they had a picture of it on Petopia, but sometimes those pictures don't really convey the actual look of some of those pets, especially like the spirit beasts and those types of creatures.
Oh yeah, they really changed the look of Karkin. Like that's totally different. I can see people might be a little upset about that. Maybe they'll keep the original and let you get the new one somewhere else or something.
Yeah, the color change was like onyx and ruby or something like that. So it's almost like a black and red. It is that one's probably the one that I think has changed the most out of any of them potentially.
Yeah, the other ones look pretty good.
I don't know. A lot of them are different colors. A lot of the wind serpents are totally new colors. I have a rare. It was like bone white wind serpent. I don't know if it was called bone or white, but it's now this kind of like beigeish brown color in the new model, which is isn't anything like the original.
Although overall, I think the new wind serpent model looks better, and there's a lot more better detail with the wings and things. I think it looks a little cleaner than. I mean, it's not drastically different, but it's different enough. I think that one's an improvement as well.
You can actually see the feathers on the wind serpents now. It's actually
I thought they were pure reptiles. I didn't realize they had feathers before.
Yeah. I do have to say those robotic models are amazing. Like the gorilla one and the chicken especially.
Yeah, the chicken looks better. The chicken like got some muscle, if you will. It's like
it's actually rounded. It previously was like just like 4 polygons. It looked like a tetrahedral. But yeah, I do have to say they did a really good job on putting in a lot of details to the robotic models. In the past they took a lot of liberties in showing a lot of the metal stuff. Now it's much more subtle. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know if this is all they're going to do for Battle for Azeroth, or if there's going to be other changes that they do. I mean, I'm guessing it's just part of an attempt to kind of modernize the looks of all these creatures, and they're just doing a few at a time. They started in Legion with the bears, maybe one other, but I'm just wondering if they're going to do any more this time, or they just keep doing it each expansion until they're done.
That yellow hyena looks really good.
Doesn't it? I know we probably should toss up some pictures next time. But
Oh yeah.
but we'll head over to Petopia. You guys, everyone listening knows how to get there. But yeah, the yellow one looks fantastic. I agree with you on that. That's my probably my favorite color of the bunch there.
Do you think
I'm
they
hoping
changed?
a lot of people are, listening in the car on their ride to work tomorrow morning, and just have no idea what we're talking about. Oh yeah, those albatrosses, amazing! Look at that model.
Yeah, look at it. No. Do you think the skeletons changed at all?
I doubt it.
Okay.
Good question. Some of them are so much curvier
Yeah.
that it's possible, but I think they're probably the same skeleton with just a different skin.
Yeah, because we've seen how much they can reuse skeletons in this game.
Oh yeah. Well, there. I mean,
But,
there are definitely new skeletons. I mean, did you guys see the frog mount and the bee mount?
Oh, the frog mount's amazing. Like the way it hops and stuff.
Yeah, I didn't see it in action or moving. Is there a video of it somewhere?
Yeah, I saw a video somewhere. Like it's actually it doesn't walk or run. It actually just hops.
That's amazing. It's you know what it probably is. It's probably the heart of the aspects skeleton because I always found that mount really annoying in how it goes up and down. That's the first thing I could think of. But now
So
they probably did create a new skeleton for that.
yeah, and I'm just like these changes here. Like, is there any other pets that they still have to update, or have they covered all the beasts now, like from the original WoW?
That's a good question. I'm not really sure which still has the old model now.
I think they've got most of it.
You know, I don't know.
Monkeys. There you go.
And did they do the cats as well?
There's been new cats like every expansion for a while now. They still have the old ones, but they didn't replace them or anything like that.
Did we get new boars?
There were
Yeah,
new style of
and-
boars. I don't know. Again, I'm
Mhm.
not sure how many the old models they updated, if they're planning to do that, or if they're going to keep a lot of those in place. But yes, I agree. Like we've had new styles of cats, and I think there were some new boars as well.
Yeah, Draenor and like a million boars. But I mean, as in other pets where they have no high res options at all. I think it's only monkeys, right?
Yeah, I'm just looking. I don't know if the bats have been updated. Maybe they have.
Yeah, there was new ones
Yeah.
in Draenor.
Yep. So yeah, that might be it.
Petopia also has a list of like potential new pets that are going to be in the ones we just talked about were just updated ones.
Yeah, those are updates to existing pets. Yeah, the new ones, like I said, I haven't gotten out far enough to see where they are or know what's tameable yet or what's not. But there were a lot of birds, falcons and hawks and
Parrots.
parrots. The parrots
Oh
look-
man, those parrots look fantastic. I remember seeing the axe beaks in Draenor and thinking, why can't we tame these? Can we tame them? Actually, now that I think about it, I don't think I tried.
Actually,
I
Yeah,
think
you
so.
can. Yeah.
Ah, crap. Well, I know what
Yeah,
I'm
but
doing.
these parrots are way better though.
Oh,
I think.
absolutely.
Wish they'd make it so that maybe they'd give it a trick so it sits on your shoulder. That would be awesome.
New ravens look good too.
And then there were some maned raptors, which they looked a little strange to me. The compies are another form of dinosaur. They look very cool. I definitely would want to get one of those.
Oh, did you see the mechanical tigers?
Yes. No word on if those are tameable or not. Probably, I would imagine they would be.
Yeah, I imagine at least some of them will be new challenges.
Is that the same model as the jewel crafting mounts?
Yeah, it looks pretty similar.
It's similar. I don't think it's the same though.
Oh yeah, those were panthers, right? They were sleeker, I guess. I don't know.
And then the pterodaxes, I don't know if those will be. I hope those will be tameable. There's no reason at this point why they shouldn't be. We can tame other dinosaurs. We should be able to tame those. And they've certainly given us a lot of other flying pets to tame this time around too. So I'm hoping those will be tameable.
Oh, I didn't see the cobras before. Those cobras are fantastic. Wow.
Yeah, there's these giant cobras. There's like 3 different models, 3 different skins, I should say, and they look kind of neat too. So yeah, I mean, it's a lot of neat new pets, and then again, no word on stable changes, but fingers crossed they'll do something.
The one pet I want most is the Brontosaurus. They better let us get one of those. I don't care how ridiculous it is with its being super tall and everything.
They shrink all these down anyway, and it's okay. But yeah, I would love to have one of those too.
Or those dire toads, those would be good too.
Still
With
wait-
whatever those Brutosaurs or whatever they call it, and there's no reason not to allow that. I mean, we've had the Hydras in the past, not that much different
Yeah, true.
than
They're
one of
pretty
those.
tall.
So
I'm still waiting for my untextured gray cube.
It does 0.1% more DPS.
Yep.
but that's all I've really seen about the pet changes so far. Maybe they'll add some new stuff, but at some point, I think I feel like these are the kinds of things that they, at least with the art and everything like that, they sort of get done relatively early on, and aren't likely to introduce newer things until like a later patch or something like that.
Though they may have things in there that we just haven't found yet.
Well, this is true. That's happened before, right? There's some rare out there that no one's stumbled upon.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the taming challenges come in. I mean, Muffinus has been great at setting up these elaborate, hidden things. So that's always a fun aspect, the secret finding community.
Yeah, what do we had in Legion?
We had the Mindbenders, the mount. I don't think we had a pet to tame, right? Did we?
In terms of like a storyline, like Gara, not really, not like that.
Right, there were the new like foxes or whatever where you have to look for the eyes. That was sort of a challenge.
Yeah, we had that
Is that
in
this
Westwood.
X-Pack?
Yeah, like all the mechanical ones, all those challenges are from Legion.
Oh, right.
Oh yeah.
We had all those mechanical ones, the ones in Nomergon and other places. We had the Spirit Beast, the Spectral Griffin, and the Raptor in the capital cities.
And we had the solo mythic Halls of Valor for
Fenrir.
Fenrir, yeah.
That's
oh
right,
yeah, that was
Fenrir.
great.
Although that one I think could have, if it was if it wasn't bugged initially, it would have been a much better like discovery.
Yeah, the way it was discovered was kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was the one from Iron Forge as well, the Scorpion boss there.
Yeah, so we've had a number. And what was the latest one on Argus? The where you had to do the blood, or not the blood, the meat.
Panthera.
Panthera. Yeah, I couldn't think of the name there.
So that one was kind of, I don't know, it was kind of iffy. Like it was so finicky using that meat or whatever you got, and like if you were like a second off on your timing, you just wasted it.
Well, I think that's in line with the entire the Mage Tower challenges theme of this expansion.
Yeah, it was just, I just wondered if like maybe we were just doing it wrong or something, because it seemed so finicky the way it worked. Like it's not like intuitive at all. Like there's no like feedback or whatever that you're doing it right or wrong.
Well, we'll look forward to more taming challenges, I suppose. They are definitely not disappointing in the number of them.
No, that's the one thing they've done pretty well and been sort of consistent about. So I imagine there'd be something more to add in BFA here. Well, we are coming up on an hour here, so unless there's any more news of note, we might want to wrap things up, I guess, and then come back in a couple more weeks and see what else has changed. So on that note, you have been listening to episode 268 of the Hunting Party Podcast. I'm Darkbrew from thebrewhall.com and the Brew Hall on Twitter.
I'm Delirium from thrillofthewild.com and at Delirium Hunts on Twitter.
I'm Bendak from Eyes of the Beast and Bendak Wow on Twitter.
All right, check us out on iTunes, YouTube, Stitcher, or add our RSS feed to your reader, and we have all these links in our show notes.
If you have a question or a topic you would like us to discuss on the show, email us at huntingpartypodcast@gmail.com or send us a tweet at huntingpartypod.
All right, stay thirsty, my friends, and remember to drink your dark brew lager.
Siempre presta la emoción de lo salvaje.
Keep your eyes on the beast.
For Alexander.
Life stealer, that's just the cost of being awesome sauce. A dues payer, a boss slayer, I rock out with my lockout Viper to cheetah to dragon hawk. No time to waste, cause I can jump shot. BM, MM, and SV. I can rock out any tree. Never worried about my threat, cause I've got FD and misdirect. Catching loose mobs in my traps. I never miss, cause I am hit capped. Cause I'm the hunter, not the marked. I'm the fighter, not the spark. I'm the kiter, not the kite. I'll top meters every fight. Raiding and cave, dealing death. Just me, my gun, and my trusty bed. Now let's begin with Illidan, Osirian, and Gil'jadan, Magdamar, Asgalor, Gruul, Cthulhu, and Razorgore, Onyxia to Ragnaros. Which one have we killed the most? Kel'Thuzad to Malagos. We even killed Akama's ghost. Feels like we're getting close, all that running as a ghost. Anubarak, Yogg-Saron, Thorian, Sartharian, Magthuridon, Sapuron, Lucifer to Sulfuron, Archelon, Amalon, Corellon, Algalon. The faction champions, the death toll rolling on and on. Garvale, Executus, Chromagus, Jaraxus. No lure will kill this. We won't stop and kill our boss. I'm a hunter.